गिरिवरधारी गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोधनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोधनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी 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 जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोधनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोधनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, titled The Activities of Prachetas. Text 5. suparṇa-skandham ārūḍho meru-śṛṅgam ivāmbudaḥ pīta-vāsā maṇi-grīvaḥ kurvan vitimirā diśaḥ suparṇa-skandham ārūḍho meru-śṛṅgam ivāmbudaḥ pīta-vāsā maṇi-grīvaḥ kurvan vitimirā diśaḥ suparṇa-skandham ārūḍho meru-śṛṅgam ivāmbudaḥ pīta-vāsā maṇi-grīvaḥ kurvan vitimirā diśaḥ suparṇa-skandham ārūḍho meru-śṛṅgam ivāmbudaḥ pīta-vāsā maṇi-grīvaḥ kurvan vitimirā diśaḥ suparṇa-skandham ārūḍho meru-śṛṅgam ivāmbudaḥ pīta-vāsā maṇi-grīvaḥ kurvan vitimirā diśaḥ suparṇa-skandham ārūḍho meru-śṛṅgam ivāmbudaḥ pīta-vāsā maṇi-grīvaḥ kurvan vitimirā diśaḥ. Word-to-word meaning. Suparṇa, of Garuda, the carrier of Lord Viṣṇu. Skandham, the shoulders. Ārūḍhaḥ, sitting on. Meru, of the mountain named Meru. Śṛṅgam, on the summit. Iva, like. Ambudaḥ, a cloud. Pīta-vāsāḥ, wearing yellow garments. maṇi-grīvaḥ, his neck decorated with the Kaustubha jewel. Kurvan, making. Vitimirā, free from darkness. Diśaḥ, all directions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The personality of Godhead, appearing on the shoulder of Garuda, smeared like a cloud resting on the summit of the mountain known as Meru. The transcendental body of the personality of Godhead was covered by attractive yellow garments, and his neck was decorated with a jewel known as Kaustubha-maṇi. The bodily effulgence of the Lord dissipated all the darkness of the universe. Purport. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.31, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Nahi Adhikara Andhakara Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Mayara Adhikar. The Lord is just like the effulgent sun. Consequently, whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present, there cannot be darkness or ignorance. Actually, this dark universe is illuminated by the sun, but the sun and the moon simply reflect the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 7.8, the Lord says, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryaha, I am the illuminating energy of both the sun and the moon. The conclusion is that the origin of all life is the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. Being illuminated by the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is freed from all darkness. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamavyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishve Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yatkrupatamham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Translation. The personality of Godhead appearing on the shoulder of Garuda seemed like a cloud resting on the summit of the mountain known as Meru. The transcendental body of the personality of Godhead was covered by the attractive yellow garments, and his neck was decorated with a jewel known as Kaustubha-maṇi. The bodily effulgence of the Lord appeared, all dissipated all the darkness of the universe. Hare Krishna. So here we are just reading about the activities of Prachetas, the 10 sons of Prachina Parishad. And before chapters we have read how Prachina Parishad, by the expert guidance of the Narad Muni, he became himself perfect, how he got perfection. Then now Sukadeva Goswami asking about the Prachina Parishad's sons, what did they do? This chapter is a continuation of the chapter of 24th, because there the end of the Prachetas then started about their father's discussion, Prachina Parishad. Then after his father's deliverance is done, then Sukadeva Goswami starts inquiring about the Prachetas. What did they do after having the association of Lord Shiva? So there Sukadeva Goswami says in the previous verses, like they did severe austerity under the water for 10,000 years, continuously reciting the Rudra Gita, the prayers which is offered by the Lord Shiva. And when Lord Shiva gave these prayers of Rudra Gita to the Prachetas, Lord Shiva says that just by reciting this prayer, Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead will be pleased. And that was like they came to do the austerity, and by the mercy of the great Vaishnava, Lord Shiva, so they got the process how to please the Lord. And their austerity was to please the Lord so that they can get married. They want to get married. So, and by the guidance of the instructions given by his father, so they came to the forest to do this severe austerity. And the process is given by Lord Shiva, how to please the Lord. And definitely by their being united together and they did severe austerity under the water for 10,000 years, continuously reciting this Rudra Gita. So Lord was very much pleased. So in the previous sloka, there the Lord has giving the darshan to the prachetas. It is said at the end of the 10,000 years of the severe austerity performed by the prachetas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to reward their austerities, appeared before them in his very pleasing form. This appealed to the prachetas and satisfied the labor of their austerity. So when they did this severe austerity for 10,000 years, so Lord immediately appeared on the carrier of Garuḍa. So today's verse it says, Lord was sitting on the Garuḍa, and Garuḍa travels with the speed of light, more than the speed of light. And Lord immediately came to the place where prachetas are doing this austerity, severe austerity. And in his beautiful form, attractive form, when these prachetas, when they saw this form of the Lord, they forget their severe austerity, what they have done, and the labor of their austerity. So they immediately forget, and they got pleased by seeing the form of the Lord. So that's what, whoever have the darshan of the Lord, they will be very much pleased by seeing the transcendental form of the Lord. That was the form, was the appearance of the Lord. How blissful it will be like, because Lord is all blissful, Sachidananda Vigraha. So even though whenever we come in contact with the Lord, we will also become very blissful, joyful. So we can see here the austerity they have done for 10,000 years is not an easy. So maybe this may be in the time of Satyuga, I think. So at the time they were doing this 10,000 years of austerity under the water. It's doing tapasya is one kind of austerity, and sitting under the water, not taking breath, it's also one of the biggest austerity, right? And staying together and doing the same prayers continuously, right? So generally we do some kind of activities. After some period we generally get bored. So I'm not talking about spiritual activity, so material activity. So for example, many times Prabhupada also says this, people they may hear once or twice some material songs or movies, but after that they will get very much bored. They don't show any interest to again hear to it or enjoy it. But in the case of spiritual activities, we perform same thing. So morning 4:30 we do Mangalarti, same Samsara Dhava we sing, and Guru Puja we do the same. And in between 2 hours of chanting, we chant the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 16 syllables. Nothing is there. But still, we don't feel like fatigue or something like bored. But we'll rather, when we do it very seriously, sincerely, with a lot of faith and conviction, definitely we are the taste which we are getting, it increased day by day. And there are so many stories, so many narrations when we go to 10th canto, how Mother Yashoda was getting that bliss every time when she sees the Lord Krishna. So when she is feeding the milk, when she sees the smiling face of the Lord, then she becomes more joyful. Then she gives more milk to the Krishna, and Krishna, when he is drinking, he smiles little bigger. Then again when she sees that bigger smile, then she becomes more joyful. So like that, it is never ending. So they didn't go bored by seeing Krishna all the time. They feel like, I want to see more. Just by seeing one portion of the body, Lord's body, like lotus feet is enough for them. Not to meditate for the whole life. They will be very blissful. So, but here we should understand one more thing is, as we see in the scriptures also it is said, doing bhakti is very simple process, easy process, and it is a very fast process also. And that too in Kali Yuga, we don't have much time, right? So our lifespan is very short, very short. So that's what, like, it is said even demigods wanted to take birth in this Kali Yuga, because it's a very short lifespan where you can achieve perfection very easily by just chanting. That is a Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma of this Kali Yuga is like, Sankirtanam we have to do, chanting the Lord's name. So just by doing that, all the austerities what you are performing in the previous yugas can be attained. No need to do any other severe kind of austerities to achieve the perfection or to achieve the Lord in this age of Kali Yuga. That is a glorious, what we call advantage of Kali Yuga, one of the biggest advantage. Because we can't do a severe austerity for 10,000 years sitting. We can't sit in the class for 2 hours. We want chair, or sometime we'll do so many kind of exercises, like we'll start moving here and there. So we can't sit for more. So what to talk of doing so many austerities, and we feel very bored also when we do same thing again and again. But if you take this easy process which has given by the authorities, and it is prescribed process for the age of Kali Yuga, so just by doing this, now we will achieve that perfection, and no need to do any kind of other austerity. I was reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it was in introduction. Prabhupada says this, like, what is the purpose of Lord Chaitanya coming to this, and what he is trying to execute. So in that, Srila Prabhupada explains, like, he came to execute this Sankirtan process, and he came to give this easy process of Sankirtan so that people can deliver easily. And Prabhupada says, like, Prabhupada has given an example of opening a temple where he is not happy to appoint or to have a brahmanas to do some kind of yajna ceremonies there for the installation of deities and for the temple process and all. So he was not happy with that, but he was very much happy to conduct Sankirtan rather having this kind of ritualistic ceremonies. Prabhupada clearly says there that since this so-called brahmanas or so-called people who are there, they are attached to these kind of rituals, they don't accept this Sankirtan movement. So to just pacify them, to show them that, okay, we are also doing some kind of process which is recommended in the scriptures, so that is we are doing just to satisfy them. But Prabhupada, meanwhile, when this ceremony is going on, he also requested his disciples to conduct Sankirtan to the next of it. And Prabhupada was very much pleased just to conducting Sankirtana in that ceremony. He was not at all worried about these ritualistic activities. So just for namesake he is doing so that people can be satisfied and they feel like, okay, temple installation is proper. Or else they'll put so many names saying that ISKCON people, they do so many non-authentic activities. But which is the authentic activity? That is Sankirtan for this yuga. But people, they are dull-minded, they don't understand. So Prabhupada clearly mentions this in that introduction of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So like that, here it is clearly mentioned, like when you do this Yuga Dharma of Sankirtan, no need to perform any other kind of activities. But Prabhupada also recommends deity worship. Why it is recommended deity worship? Because to maintain ourselves cleanliness and punctuality. So to become more strict, so in devotional activities you have to do archana. So Prabhupada recommends that also. But yes, as you advance more, then when you are trained in all these things, then you can focus on these preaching activities more than sticking to the deity worship and other activities, so which are secondary, but primary activity is like Sankirtan. So we have to give this knowledge to everyone. And in this process we see, as we discussed, so this Kali Yuga has a very easy process. But why here we can see for Prachetas, why they took 10,000 years? Why Lord took 10,000 years, after 10,000 years of severe austerity, when Lord came to them? Why it took long time for them? Even in this purport, fourth verse purport, Prabhupada explains about Valmiki, how he did 60,000 years of penance he did. Why that austerity is required, that much long austerity is required. So we can ask this question because if you see, it's very easy to please the Lord, but even Pracheta's case also, Lord Shiva confirmed it. When whoever chants this Rudra Geet in the morning and evening, they will please the Lord immediately. But here it took very long time, even in the different cases like Dhruva Maharaj case, even Kardamuni case also. So they did lot of penance, lot of austerities to please the Lord. Why Lord took that much time to bestow His mercy? Because Lord wanted to see the sincerity of the devotee. Even in the last canto, 12th canto, last chapter, Sukadeva Goswami starts, till now he was giving all devotional activities, how to perform, and all the pastimes of the Lord, which is related to devotional service. But at the last, he gave about the Jnana process. He was recommending Jnana process to Sukadeva Goswami. Some of the people, they generally also quote this reference like, Srimad Bhagavatam, essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is Jnana, because at the end, Sukadeva Goswami concludes by process of Jnana. And he is recommending to Sukadeva Goswami. But Acharyas, they says this like, they give the explanation like why Sukadeva Goswami was giving this knowledge of Jnana. Why he is recommending it? Because he is not recommending, but he wanted to test his disciple whether he is convinced with devotional service or not. So in that case, Sukadeva Goswami is giving Parikshit Maharaj about Jnana. But definitely, yes, Parikshit Maharaj didn't accept it. So he was stick to only devotional service because he is very much happy with that devotional service. Because it is susukam kartumapyam. He is very happy to execute devotional service than jnana or yoga, other kind of activities. So in that way, so here like how Sukadeva Goswami was testing Parikshit Maharaj, similarly here Lord is testing the Prachetas. And finally, Lord is very much pleased by their austerity, he appeared. So we have seen that how important this austerity is. Even though we do a lot of austerity here in the starting from the day, so we do a lot of austerity. We don't miss the process what authority has given, like Srila Prabhupada has given. We follow it as it is. We don't change it anything, and we stick to the process just to please the Lord, just to please our authorities. And we follow it sincerely, having full faith. That is a big austerity. We may do so many things, other things also in the morning program, but it is not recommended. It is recommended to do chanting in the morning, to attend Mangalarti, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to attend Guru Puja. These are very important. That is a process which is given. That is our austerity. So when we are doing this austerity, definitely we are going to please. And following the 4 regulatory principles, chanting 16 rounds. There is a bare minimum austerity which is given. There are high level austerities also there, but it can be followed by based on our intense devotion and the fixed up. When we are fixed up, then we can do that all more austerity like Prabhupada was doing. Barely he was sleeping for very less time, and he generally sleeps at 10 and wakes up at 12 or 1 o'clock, and he start compiling books, writing the books. So, but we can't do it. No, we will get migraine immediately. We'll fall sick. So, but as when we grow, when we become more mature, when we understand the importance of our devotional activities, then maybe by the mercy of the Lord, we will be empowered to do more austerities. But initially it is not required. Initially it is required how much is said by the austerity, that much has to be followed. That is enough. And here in this verse, today's verse, so Lord is like coming with a carrier. Garuda is carrying the Lord, and it is compared here Lord with a cloud resting on the Meru mountain. So this is very nice analogy, means kind of glorification that is being glorified, because Lord's form is like a cloud, fresh cloud. And when you see, when a mountain or a hill is being covered with the clouds, the scenery looks very beautiful, very beautiful. Similarly here, the Garuda, who is in a golden form, and Lord having that golden what we call yellow garments, and on top of it, Lord's face looks like a cloud. So that's what the comparison was given, Lord was looking on the Garuda as a cloud. And even many in the Bhagavatam descriptions, different places, Lord is being compared with the cloud, especially in the Varaha appearance. When Lord Varaha was lifted Mother Earth on his tusk, then they glorify, saying that no, it looks like a cloud. And even in this comes in Vishnu Sahasranama, I don't know, Shantakaram Bhujasaganam. So Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganashadrusham Meghavarnam Shubhangam. So here also it is mentioned as a Meghavarnam. So he looks like a cloud. So in different places it has been, even the appearance of Lord Krishna also it is made he looks like a newly freshly formed cloud. And further it is mentioned Lord is decorated with covered, his body is being covered by the yellow garments, and his neck is decorated with his jewel called as Kaustubha-maṇi. And the body effulgence of the Lord dissipated all the darkness of the universe. So here in the purport also Prabhupada quotes this Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Lord is just like the effulgent sun. Consequently, whenever the Lord, Personality of Godhead is present, Supreme Personality of Godhead is present, there cannot be darkness or ignorance. So we can see this material world is being illuminated by the sun, and that darkness is being removed by the presence of the sun. But if you see, the sun, it can dissipate the external darkness, but not the internal darkness. But here, the presence of the Lord, it can dissipate the external and internal darkness both. And it is said here it is mentioned as a Lord dissipating the darkness of the universe. Wherever Lord is present, there is no existence of Maya, and there is no darkness. But in the scriptures it is also said, the Lord's holy name can also dissipate the ignorance, the darkness. And in some of the, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, the glorification of Bhagavatam, it is mentioned even Srimad Bhagavatam can dissipate the darkness, because it is compared as a light. Srimad Bhagavatam is also compared as a light. So not only the Lord's holy name and Lord's glorification, the Srimad Bhagavatam can also dissipate the darkness. And even not only these three, but even the devotee of the Lord can also dissipate the darkness, ignorance. That's what when we we recite these prayers, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya. So that the Ajnan which is there, ignorance which is there, that can be dissipated by the mercy of the Guru, who is a devotee of the Lord. So not only Lord Holy Name and Srimad Bhagavatam, but also the devotee of the Lord can dissipate. And in Lord himself says in the Uddhav Geet that he compares devotees as a sun. The same example what I gave, there Lord gives this analogy of how this sun can dissipate the external darkness, but a devotee is as a sun, he can dissipate the external and internal darkness both. That's what they light the lamp of the knowledge within our heart, so that darkness which is there, ignorance which is there, that can be removed. So in this way, like the appearance or the presence of the Lord was there in front of the Prachitas, and they are very happy to see the form of the Lord, and immediately the ignorance which is there around is being dissipated. The darkness which is there within the universe, it is all being removed. So in this way, Prachitas become very happy to see the form of the Lord. So in the further, we can see like the discussion between the Prachitas and the Lord, and what benediction they got and things further. It's very interesting slokas furthermore to discuss. And with this I would like to pause here, and if you have any doubts or questions you can.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. Towards the end, the point that you made, sun can dissipate only external darkness, whereas Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, his devotees, they can dissipate even the internal darkness. So that's a very hope-giving and very inspiring statement. And also the another thing that you said about the austerities, the only austerity that we have is to practice the Yuga Dharma or to chant the holy names of the Lord. And that can give everything that was given by various other Yuga Dharmas of previous Yugas, which were really very difficult as compared to what we are doing now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It's a very nice class. So in the starting which you made that point, in Kali Yuga, so we have this advantage of less lifespan. It's quite fearing as well as advantage if we take positively. Within less lifespan, we can, by just chanting the holy names and practicing bhakti, we can attain perfection. And that point which you made, the holy name, all the other forms of the Lord need not be personally present. Even his holy name, Bhagavatam, devotees can dissipate the darkness. Hare Krishna. These are the 2 points which I did.
Hare Krishna. This point I liked which you told that austerities, pure devotees and fixed up devotees, they do very great austerities which we cannot imitate. Austerities which we do should always depend upon how much intense devotional service we are practicing. Prabhupada and Rupa Goswamis and many Goswamis and Acharyas, they took up that austerities because they were already practicing intense devotional service and they are fixed up. Currently at our stage we are not that much elevated in our consciousness and everything. So accordingly we should practice whatever is told and given. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So this point regarding the yugas, that in this yuga the process which has been given to us is very easy, this process of bhakti, and compared to the previous yugas where so many austerities were performed, and so we should feel fortunate, and now the onus is upon us that we do it.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. At beginning you made a point, Prabhuji. You told Prabhupada did not like these rituals of temple deity instruments, anything. And it is just for making people satisfied that we are practicing bona fide scriptures and everything. But he mainly focused on Sankirtan movement, and that's what which is going to protect us. And you made, and at middle you also made point. This is actually a question. You told Shukadeva Goswami instructed Parishit Maharaj to accept Jnana. I want to know a bit detail, Prabhuji. why he told to accept jnana.
Should I say, no, you want to test whether after hearing long discussions about devotional service, whether he will.
What is the discussion, Prabhuji?
Then you can read it. That is, it's a big last chapter. I heard this, so I didn't have to know. I didn't went into the chapter.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, I like the point which you had mentioned about how we get bored doing material activities, and how we do the same Mangala Aarti and Guru Puja and spiritual activities, and then we don't get bored. So we should devote more time ourselves in spiritual activities, and then we can progress in bhakti. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि चैतन्य महाप्रभु जब आए थे तो वो हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र दिए, तो कलियुग तो 5000 साल पहले ख़त्म हो गया था, बीच में तो हरि नाम का कुछ ये नहीं था, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र नहीं था, तो उस टाइम में तो यज्ञ वगैरह करते थे, तो उस टाइम में कुछ ऐसा रिचुअलिस्टिक होता था ना, तो उसमें कुछ ये मिलता था नहीं मिलता था, कोई फल मिलता था उसमें नहीं मिलता था। तो अब अभी भी कलियुग है तो उसमें सेम टाइम में बस चैतन्य महाप्रभु का वजह से हम हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जो जप कर रहे हैं, तो अभी यज्ञ करने में कुछ मिलेगा नहीं मिलने वाला है अगर भगवान का नाम में कुछ कर रहे हैं तो।
आम का सीजन आ गया। See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu जब आए थे, when he came, so at that time also, like not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Advaita Acharya, when he saw Smartha Brahmanas, they are just not performing their rituals as it is prescribed in the Vedas. Scriptures में जैसा दिया गया था वैसा नहीं कर रहे थे, और फिलहाल instead of that they used to pose themselves as how great I am, see I am well versed. They are not their intention was not to pacify or to please the Lord by their knowledge, but they are just giving show off, saying that I am great, I am great, very great than you because I know more, I have more knowledge. So दिखावा कर रहे थे, तो because of that Advaita Acharya was very much worried, how these people will be delivered. These people are supposed to do their prescribed duty is to just perform these kind of activities, but they are not. They are like deviating from this path. So how they will be delivered? This was just in the Kali Yuga itself, because it is clearly mentioned at that time itself, 500 years at that time only, they don't have, at that time also we can't see this Brahmanas who are well versed or well qualified, because they are behind the results. They are not behind the Lord to please the Lord, I want to perform this activity to please the Lord. No, their intention was different. The intention was to get their own name, fame. They want to become themselves famous. Keshav Kashmiri is one of the example where Lord defeated them. They were going in different one place to other, traveling all over the world and defeating different scholars and making showing off that he is very famous, he is well versed. But that doesn't work with the Lord Chaitanya. When he came, he got defeated. Like Mother Saraswati itself said, how can I defeat my master? Because the intention was different, and the same, the yajna which was being performed in other yugas cannot be performed now, because one thing is we don't have proper brahmanas who can recite the slokas, and we can't get the ingredients, pure ingredients where is available. We can't get pure ghee, we can't get pure chandan, we can't get pure ingredients, sticks which is required for the yajna. And who will invoke the fire, yajna fire, with the mantras? Not with a matchbox, putting some petrol or some oil. We can't invoke like that, we can't do it. This is not a proper way. And yajnas, they sacrifice the old animals before they do this activity. They used to prove themselves that they are qualified brahmanas by their mantras. They used to give this, what we call, kill the old animals and give them a new body from the fire. Who is there to do all these things? No one. Even though if you have all these things, which is not recommended for this age, so no need to do it. Even though you have, is not needed. Lord will be pleased by just your sincere chanting. That's enough. No need to do costly yajnas. That's what Prabhupada says, he is not happy to do these ceremonies which are just costing a lot of money. Rather, he said, better to do Sankirtana yajna. Wherever you do Sankirtana, the vibration, wherever it goes, it purifies the place. So that is what recommended. In the other yugas, when they are doing, they used to get that the fruits, what they are doing, they used to achieve that. They used to get it. Prachetas, they were doing this Satya Yuga, they are supposed to do yoga, dhyana. So they are doing that. And they got that result. They got that fruit which they wanted to. It's not that they will not get it. But for this yuga, it is not recommended, so it's not needed. Maybe anyone can.
Even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, those people who were strictly following the qualified sampradaya,
See, bona fide sampradaya, it's there. They used to, now also if you go to Sri Sampradaya, so they do some kind of activities which are very pleasing to the Lord. Lord is happy. In Jagannath Puri also, they do so many rituals there. And Lord is happy with that. And who tries to stop, Lord comes in the dream and says, warns them, no, why you are stopping it? My devotees wanted to do, I am happy with that. So it's not, if you have pure heart, if you do little endeavor also, no need to finish this activity. If you have that intense desire to please the Lord, that mood should be very important. Why we are doing morning austerity, this much austerity? If our with proper mood when we do, definitely we are going to please the Lord. That is our main goal. That is our main intention why we are doing austerity. If that is absent, how much ever you do, even though you chant 24 hours a day with a lot of, with not having that proper mood, then you may not please the Lord. It may take more time. But if you understood that, okay, my aim is to please the Lord, and that should be my mood, then if you do any activity, any action you do, even though if you are sleeping, that will be considered as a very great austerity. But if that mood is absent, then whatever nonsense you do or whatever good you do, it is waste of time.
You told about chanting of holy name in this age of Kali Yuga. And there are many examples, such as Ambarish Maharaj. He also went and chanted holy name of the Lord. Holy name of the Lord remains same effective at each yuga, or it has changed, or it is same?
See, that's what the effect of the holy name is same, because it is non-different from the Lord. Name, form, pastimes are non-different. They have same effect. But in the age of Kali Yuga, it is more prescribed that you have to do it, you will have more effect on it. But in other yuga also it's there. Now Dhruva Maharaj, what he did? He was chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And meanwhile he also doing this other activities like deity worship, archana also he was doing. But more emphasis was given on this chanting, which his spiritual master has given, initiated him with the mantra. He was doing that. Lord is very pleased. Within 6 months he appeared, Dhruva Maharaj.
I'd just like to add one point here that, as you rightly mentioned, that holy name is all powerful. The speciality of the age of Kali is the Mahamantra that Mahaprabhu has given. Before that, as Prabhu rightly mentioned, devotees were chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then even Narayana Namaha. So all these were chanted because Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they all gave, because they know what is there in Shastra. Holy name has to be chanted. So So they were chanting. But then the big thing that happened after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came was he gave the Mahamantra, and this Mahamantra can give Krishna Prema. Whereas the other holy names which they were chanting, obviously they are all powerful, but then they were max to max even in Vaikuntha. And even there are other sampradayas where Krishna's names are chanted, but max to max they were given the place in Goloka Vrindavan, but in Shanta Rasa or Dasya Rasa. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave this holy name, that is the Mahamantra, he gave the first three rasas, and especially the Madhuri Rasa. So that is the biggest thing, which was never ever given in any of the ages, nor in the Kali Yuga before he appeared. So that's the difference. So that's the opulence that we have now. Yeah? Yeah, it is there. Yeah. Mahaprabhu just emphasized. Yeah.
These mantras were there at that time also, but not emphasized. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।